Okay, so I'm going to share the screen now. And here we go. Okay, so when I joined the business, the only people I spoke to in the very beginning was actually Nathan Bowles, and there's Nathan and Rebecca, who you all saw at the weekend, who are the only presidential diamonds in Europe, just about. Certainly the only presidential diamonds in the UK, I think. And so they are the most successful people in this part of the world in doTERRA. And one of the things that Nathan in particular was very adamant about in the beginning, and he stressed the importance of the wellness consultation, which is the call that we do after the person has bought their oils, bought their kit. And he was very particular about this, and he actually said to me that it was the most time-consuming part of the process, but it was the most worthwhile part of the process. And I absolutely 100% agree with him, which will come as no surprise. But they say that success leaves clues. So if someone who's a presidential diamond earning an absolute fortune says it, then my instinct is to follow that advice. So I'm going to cover why tonight, why it's important. So why should we do it? Why is it important? The first thing to say, it's not enough in business to just sell kits to people. It's not enough to sell kits to people. Maybe make a note of that. That's only really part of what we do, and it's not the end game at all. Actually, it's the beginning of the process. So the first reason is it's not enough to sell kits to customers. We've got to actually provide help to the customer. We've got to provide customer service. We've got to be of service and to add value. So for example, if someone buys a home essentials kit for 250 quid, whatever it is, that's the first part of the equation. The second part of the equation is how we add value to their experience of the oils. We add value to their membership in doTERRA, because that's basically how we get paid. We only get paid if we add value. We don't get paid, well, we do get paid for selling them the kit, but not a residual income. We only get paid a linear income. So one of the most important missions of the business, the company, and us as individuals is to empower the customer to become more proactive in their healthcare. And that usually will require us, in most cases, to point people and give people direction, because they won't figure it out for themselves, usually. Now, there may be some people that will have it all figured out. You will certainly enroll clinical aromatherapists who may know all about the oils, and you might even enroll people who are nutritionists, for example, who might know all about how to look after themselves. But the vast majority, so in general terms, 90% plus people, there will be opportunities for us to demonstrate that we can add value to them, so by helping them and giving them more, so that they get more out of their doTERRA experience. And also what we're aiming to do, actually, if you think about it, if we're talking about building a business, is we're aiming to build relationships with people. This is really of such fundamental importance that if we just sell a kit and do nothing else, we're doing them a disservice, and we're actually doing ourselves a disservice. So we not only need to do it, so hopefully now I've explained why we need to do it, but not only do we need to do it, we need to do it really, really well. We need to get good at the wellness consultation and the after sales service, because that's what it is. The wellness consultation is the after sales service, and it's not compulsory. If you think about it, we could just sell kits all day long, all week long, all year long, but it wouldn't really do the customers. It would be doing the customer a massive disservice, and it wouldn't produce what we want it to produce, which is healthier people and residual income. So what we have to do is to create win-win situations where the customer benefits, we benefit, and doTERRA benefit. And we do that by looking after the customers, by doing the wellness consultation and making sure that they understand all the various aspects, which I'm not going to go into on this call, but I'm going to give you some of them. So the first principle that you should really be aware of is that you should always look for ways of adding value and being of service. You should try to identify opportunities to add value. Now, I remember an old story by a guy called Bill Cullen, and he used to sell cars in Ireland. He took over Renault Ireland, bought it for £1 when it was in millions and millions of debt. And he turned the company around, made it profitable. And one of the things he used to do is he used to sell cars, and they used to unscrew the inside handle from the back door so that it fell off, so that the customer would then ring up and complain, and then they would go and go out of their way to demonstrate that they could resolve the customer problem and go the extra mile so that the customer remembered how promptly they responded to the request. So it was kind of like part of the strategy was to actually make a fault when they sold the car. Now, we don't have to go that far, but one of the things I reckon you should do is look for ways that you can demonstrate that you care about the customer and that you really want to help. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples about that now. So these are two examples, real examples, that I came across. The first one was a lady last year in July. Now, if you remember last July, we had a really warm July. And everybody got really excited and they thought it was going to carry on for 3 months, but it only actually lasted for July. But it was really, really hot weather, and we were all walking about in our shorts, which was fantastic. But for this lady that I just registered, she wasn't so keen on it because she was going through the menopause and she was getting hot flushes at night when it was very high temperature, and she couldn't sleep. Now, she just bought the Home Essentials kit, and she was telling me this on the just before the wellness consultation, actually. So I sent her some Clary Sage to try and help her with that issue, because her wellness consultation and her loyalty rewards order weren't going to be for another couple of weeks. So rather than let her wait in the sun, in the heat of the summer, 2 weeks, I wanted to get the product to her quickly. So I actually sent her a Clary Sage. And then the other one was actually this morning with a lady who had to delay her wellness consultation. She didn't actually manage to do the appointment at the appointed hour because her son, a little boy, had a bit of a meltdown with autism. And she was telling me about this morning when I was doing the wellness consultation. And to cut a long story short, I sent her some samples of balance, peace. I also sent her serenity. I sent her a couple of others, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But I gave her about 4 or 5 samples for a little boy. And it wasn't for any other reason other than I wanted to help her. Because the little boy was only 6 years old, and they're having real problems with him at school. And I'm sure you've heard similar stories about that. And it's a natural human reaction and emotion to want to help people. So it goes no further than that. All I'm suggesting here is that you should look for those situations as they arrive, and you should think of them as opportunities for you to add value and to build the relationship. And if you can help people with things like that, they won't all build a business, they won't all, buy loads of oils, but if you keep doing the right thing, some of them will, and that's the point. So don't be afraid to sample people after you've registered them. And I think that tip, actually, I heard that, I think, from Emily Mascarenas, who's a Blue Diamond. I think it was Emily Mascarenas. So there you go. There's a really good tip of how you can start to add value after they've bought the kit. Now, the next thing is I'm going to now go over the actual process of what we do when we register people in doTERRA. So I prefer to do everything on Zoom wherever possible. And I'm going to tell you why that is the case. That the reason why I do it that way is because I do it on a screen share and they can see me filling in the form. So, and that builds trust. So I nearly always do it on Zoom, 99% of the time. If someone says they want to go ahead, well, I usually have them on Zoom anyway, actually, before that point. But if I don't, if I rung someone and they said they want to go ahead, I get them on Zoom and I share the screen because they can see me, I can see them, and it builds trust, builds a relationship, builds rapport. So at the point of registration, so I'm now filling in the form, they've paid their money, up on the screen it says, congratulations, your order has been processed. We now have a new either wholesale customer, which is usually wholesale customer, into the team. So at that point, what I'm then going to do is I'm going to keep them on Zoom. I'm not ending the Zoom call. They've paid their money, they've joined the business, but I'm going to keep them on Zoom, and I'm then going to connect with them on Facebook if I haven't already done so. So I will now open up my Facebook profile, share the screen so they can see it, and I'll tell them to go on to Facebook on their phone and send me a friend request. And at the same time, I'm going to type into the search bar their details and see if I can find them before they find me. So it's like a little game. And I say, go on, you see if you can find me before I find you. And then usually, because I'm sharing the screen, they can tell me that it is them that I've found. And then I send them the friend request, or sometimes there's settings are such that you can't. So I get them to send it to me, and I send this link in the top left of the screen is the link to my profile, and I send it to them on Messenger. If I can't send them a friend request because there's security settings are type, so they send me one. So, but the point is that I connect with them on Facebook if I haven't already done it, so that I can now communicate more effectively, more efficiently, and more quickly, usually through Messenger. So this is all going on the Zoom call. They're still on Zoom. So be clear on that. I'm not letting anybody off the Zoom, even though they've paid their money and bought the kit. I'm keeping them on the Zoom, just to be clear. So they can still see me, I can still see them, and we've done the connection, and we're still on Zoom. Nobody's going anywhere. Nobody's allowed to leave the building. Everybody's locked in. We're on Zoom. I'm now sending them a link on Messenger, which is a link to this page, essentialoilsbb.com/wellness-consultation, which is, not surprisingly, the wellness consultation page. But I'm still sharing the screen. Now, this is really important. Don't overlook these little details, because these little details make massive differences, and I'll explain why. So I now show them the screen. So they're looking at my screen, but they've got the link in their Messenger feed. And I'm going to say, I've just sent you the link to this page. And I'm going to say to them, can you see the page with all the lavender? And they say, yes, that's great. So now I know they're with me. And then I say, I've sent you the message. Now they're still on Zoom at this point. And this is the message. This is actually Peter's message, which I think is quite good, actually. And I didn't always use it at first because I was lazy. I just used to send them a link. But now I actually do send them a full message. And you'll see I've highlighted, or I've bolded up this line, which says, we ideally need to complete part 2 within the next 3 to 5 days. So this message is basically describing the detail of the wellness consultation. And there you see the link again. So there's the link in the message. But because I've got them on Zoom, and because they can talk to me and I can talk to them, I'm going to make sure that they can either attend Monday or Thursday, 11 or 7, or I'm going to arrange an alternative time. But I'm going to arrange that alternative time, or one of those 2 times, whilst they're on the Zoom call. So that's the message. They've got that message in Messenger, and I'm talking to them on Zoom, just like I'm talking to you now. Now, I'm still on Zoom, but I'm now scrolling down the page of the wellness consultation on the website. So we've agreed the call, we've booked the calls in my diary, but I'm now scrolling down the page. I'm going to explain what they're about and how long they last, which is the videos. I'm going to show them the 3 videos that I require them to watch and that is in their best interest to watch. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what they're about, but I'm just going to really say that what we need to do now, we've booked the next training call, but what I need you to do to prepare for that call is I need you to do part 1 of the wellness consultation, which involves you watching these 3 short videos, emphasizing that they're short videos. The first one is 22 minutes, first one is 20 minutes, next one is 12, the last one is 3. So it's about 36 minutes in total. And I'm going to tell them that it's 36 minutes in total. So they're clear that they've got 3 videos that they need to watch that last 36 minutes before the call, which I've booked and put in my diary, and they've put in their diary. So now I know what's happening, they know what's happening, everybody's got clear direction, and they know what's coming next. So that's what. So I'm still on Zoom. Are you with me? We're still all on Zoom. We're not on the phone, we're on Zoom. And they can see the 3 videos. Now I also, as a matter of interest, see we're still on Zoom, I also tell them a little bit about part 2. And I say, now, look, if you don't get time to do this, don't worry. The most important thing is to watch the 3 videos. That's really all I need them to do. So all I need them to do really is to watch the 3 videos. But I also say, if you get time, this is what we're going to do on the next call. We're going to go through this training document here. And it takes about 35, 45 minutes. And I'm going to go through that document with you on the next call. So if you do get a chance to have a look at the document before we meet, then that's great. Click on it and download it, and it'll be fine. And you can have a preview of what we're going to do, and it'll prepare you for the training call. And I do that, and actually it works really well if they look at the document as well. But if they don't look at the document, it's absolutely fine. Because it doesn't matter, because I'm still going to go through the document with them anyway, whether they've been through it or not. Even if they said they read it 4 times and they knew it off by heart, I'm still going to go through the document with them. But it just warms up the next call. So everybody's still with me. We're still on the Zoom. Okay, now what I'm also going to do is agree the time. I've already covered this really, but I'm going to agree the time. Now let's say it's 3 or 4 days hence, 4 or 5 days hence. We don't really want it to be longer than 3 or 4 days. It's very rare that I do them longer away than that. But just as a tip, it's a really good idea to send them a quick message on Messenger between the point of registration and the time you've booked them into the Zoom, just to say, how's it going, Mary? Hope everything's okay with you. Did you manage to have a look at the 3 videos yet? And then quite often they'll come back to you and say, yeah, I've watched them, or no, I haven't watched them, but I'm going to watch them tonight, or I'm going to watch them tomorrow. And that's okay, because then you've just reminded them to do something which they probably would have forgotten to do. So it's more efficient. So maintain communication between the point of registration and the group wellness consultation. Now, the next thing, so now I've got some really good news for you. I'm going to let them go off the Zoom. And then the next time they go on Zoom is when they see either Peter or me on the group wellness consultation, which usually is about 3 days later. And I like to do them ideally the day before they get the kit, the day they get the kit, or maybe just before, or sometimes the day after, but usually, ideally, the day before. And do you know why I want to do it the day before they get the kit? And this is so important. I want you to understand the psychology of this, because it's really, really important. And it's one of the subtle intricacies that you might have overlooked. And that is, at this point, if I can get them onto the group wellness consultation or a one-to-one wellness consultation, the day they get their kit, or the day before they get their kit, or the day after they get their kit, guess what? They're still excited. And because they're still excited, they're receptive to what I've got to say, and I will be able to build on the excitement. So that's why I do it. That's why I like to do it quickly. If it gets left 10 days, 2 weeks, the excitement dissipates, life intervenes, and you're on an uphill battle to even get the call done. The longer you leave it, the harder it will be for you to even do the call. That's why my tip is do it in 3 to 4 days max. Now, after they've done the call, but I missed a bit actually, because when you book them into the call, you also should book the follow-up Zoom on your Zoom at the end of the group call. So just to be clear, just let me recap over that. So when you book them into the wellness consultation, if it's a group consultation on either the Tuesday or the Thursday, you need to say that you need 15 minutes with them at the end of that call to set up their back office. So after they've been on the group wellness consultation, I'm now going to get them on my Zoom, and I'm going to log into their back office 99 times out of 100. So we're back on Zoom. I'm back sharing the screen with them, and I'm saying, here's your back office, Mary. I'm just going to show you how to navigate around your back office, and then I'm going to create their LRP template. Let me repeat that, just in case you missed it. I am going to create their LRP template, having logged in to their back office. Now, if I couldn't get into their back office because they've been really efficient and organized, and they have logged into the back office and they've changed the password, which happens in about 3% of cases, by the way, not many. If it does, then I'll get them to do it. But 9 times out of 10, 90 out of 100, I am going to log into their back office because I gave them the password. I just used password with a capital P and the year of their birth. So I've got their account number, I've got the password, I log in, and I then create the template in their back office with them on the Zoom call. Okay? And the way we do that is really, really simple. Is you ask them, did they obviously, have they watched the videos? You know they watched the videos, and then you discuss with them any relevant issues that you've already identified. So if it was a lady with a child with autism, that would be really, really easy to do. Or if it was a lady going through the menopause with hot flushes, that would be really, really easy to do. Or if it was someone who had expressed an interest in some of the videos, like Lifelong Vitality Pack or Health and Nutrition, or anything that you've made a note of, either before the class, during the class, or after the class, that they're of interest, I'm going to be discussing it with them while I create their template. And if necessary, which I did on a call this morning, I used the 3 resources on the screen. Look at that. There's a really good little tip for you. So they've been on, let's say they've been on Peter's group wellness consultations, which are fantastic because he puts all his energy and his personal testimonials into his use of the products like Lifelong Vitality Pack, which I've seen him do and which I do. So if they've been on the group wellness consultation and they've got some specific issues as well, like let's say it was anxiety, I'll just click on the anxiety while I've got them on, and I'll say, oh look, there we go. These are the orders that we need for your anxiety. And guess where they're going? They're going in their basket, in their cart, because they've told me that those are their priorities. So it's built around any health issues they've disclosed to you that they're interested in, their priorities as identified on the wellness consultations, and the information in the videos. This is how we are of service, by giving guidance and direction and help to the wholesale customer. So that's how I do it. I do it on Zoom with a screen share, and I use the resources if necessary. But the purpose of it is to help them with their health issues. Now, what I then do, when I've created the template and I've set all that up, and I've done that, and I've saved it on the system, I now stop the screen share and I get them to log into the back office, and I get them to share the screen with me. And I make a big joke about it. I say, now this is your first training in the use of the Zoom technology. And we have a good laugh as they fumble their way around Zoom looking for the screen share and then selecting the wrong page and all the things that people do, or not selecting a page or whatever it may be. But eventually, usually after a couple of minutes, I can then see their back office on my screen. Now, and what I then get them to do is I get them to edit the template. So I get them to click on the edit button and I watch them do it, and I say take out the clary sage or take out the wild orange and add in another product. And I actually get them to do that and then save the changes, and then I know that they know how to do it. So if they want to add more products in, or if they need to do more research, if they need to use the 3 resources, if they need to go and investigate things or think about things, they can do all of that. They can amend the template because I've watched them do it. They've got the login and it's all done and dusted. Now, a quick word. Oh, one more thing. Yeah, one more thing. So if they've said, when I've asked them about their priorities, if they said they would like to build the business, for example, I'm also going to take them to the step-by-step guide, and I'm going to arrange usually another strategy call, because by now they'll have probably had 45 minutes with Peter on the group, 15 minutes to 20 minutes with me creating the template. So we'll have done an hour. That's enough for anybody. And then I'm going to book another call, another meeting with them, a strategy meeting to discuss which of the step-by-step guides they're going to kick off with. So are they going to launch their business on social media? Are they going to set up a Facebook page? Are they going to reach out to people that they know if they've already got a client base, for example? So that may vary, but I'm going to book another call into my diary while I've still got them on Zoom. So I'm not letting them go. I'm not leaving it up in the air. I'm not crossing my fingers hoping they'll come back to me in a few days and build a business. No. I'm going to book the next strategy call, the business call, whilst I've got them on the Zoom. And I might discuss it with them briefly. Like last night I did one and I discussed it with a lady, and we agreed that the first thing she should do, once we'd done the template, was actually launch the business on social media. So she's preparing the post now, and I'm going to look at it, and then we're going to post it and today or tomorrow. So so that's basically the whole process. Hopefully I've covered it, but just to summarize, we are there to help people and to build relationships with people and to be of service to people, but also to some extent we are also there to give direction. And it's no good leaving it to them to figure out, because it's all brand new for them. Some of them might be experienced in essential oils, but the majority probably aren't that experienced. The majority of people I speak to have used lavender and tea tree, and that's about it, really. So what are they going to know about either building a business, establishing a wellness routine, health and nutrition, protocols for specific conditions? The probability is they won't know any of that, and they're looking to me to give them advice, help, support, and direction, which is exactly what I do, and that's how I add value, and that's why I'm building an effective business. So I hope that helps. Let me just stop the screen share, and I'm going to stop the recording.